This is Dr. Rosie Kuhn, and this podcast series is called Spiritual Immersion, Taking the Plunge. And the intention of these podcasts is to support and empower you to be present to what is in your life, what is happening, what is showing up, what is arising, what's going on that perhaps is offering lessons and learnings for you and growth opportunities. We always hate that change provides growth opportunities, but unfortunately or fortunately, that's how it is. So one of the things that came up and comes up quite often is when I'm working with clients and they're going through some deep process. There's like this huge purging, detoxing, or catharsis that happens physically, emotionally, spiritually, energetically. There's this big unburdening of the self, the psyche, the soul, whoever is in there, all of it. There's a big unburdening. And so when that happens, right now, it's like that's what's happened. So, for instance, my client of mine, I'll call her Paula. I always change people's names. She, this last week, went through a huge process. And that can mean anything to anybody. So, but for her, she sobbed and sobbed and sobbed and actually vomited and just felt so deeply in her being the loss of life in the experience that she was experiencing. So she had asked for a coaching session, and she said, okay, I want this coaching session because I want to know what to do now. I don't know what to do. I've just done all this work and nothing's coming, and I don't feel like I want to do A, B, or C. I don't want to do any of that, and I don't know what to do. I'm laughing because I've been there thousands of times. I don't know what to do. And so in that moment, she is like, there should be something. I should be doing something. And that, again, is one of those elements of our consensus view of reality that says, I should be busy, right? The principle of if I'm busy or if I'm purposeful, then good things happen. If I'm not busy, if I'm not doing something, it must mean I'm lazy and complacent. I hear this a lot from clients, is like if I'm in a state of rest, which our whole being needs, we interpret that as incompetent or complacency or laziness. When we do that, we don't give ourselves the space to actually allow our spirit self, our human spirit self, to find its place. And so an analogy of that would be I don't know if you've ever dug a well or had a well at your home, but if you're needing to find a water in the ground, you have to dig a hole. And if you dig a hole that's perhaps 3 feet deep or 10 feet deep or 20 feet deep, however you need to go, you go down, and all of a sudden you realize that you've done a lot of work digging that hole. And you come to a place where you've noticed that there's moisture in the water. It's like, aha, we're done for the day. And you're exhausted. And a lot of times people go, well, should we fill the hole up with water? It's like, yeah, no. Should we put a pump in? Should we do this? Should we do that? It's like, no, right now the time is to rest and just let things be, let things percolate, let things come up as they need to surface. So the next day you might go out and you look and you go, oh my God, there's water in there, but there's not very much. Like, I should do something. It's like, no, just let it be. And over the course of time, that well will fill itself up. And things will happen in terms of the water shows up in a well. And if you've dug in the right place, water will show up. And it's the same with when you do deep work, when you have are in a process of catharsis and deep grief perhaps, or deep anger or rage or despair or depression, in those places when when you've gone to the right place and you feel that depth, you've done a great job at digging that well, if you will. And now all there is to do is to be restful, to be you, and allow what's going to surface, allow. So when Paula, my client, says, well, what should I do? Or how do I know? And where, what, who, and I go, well, what gives you peace? What brings rest? What do you know works for you in terms of aligning you with your highest knowing, your highest truth in that space of being? And she goes, well, when I'm outside, it's okay, great. When I'm walking, excellent. When I'm resting, excellent. When I'm creating, excellent. When I'm working with my clients, excellent. So Paula is telling us, this is what I need to do. This is how I take care of myself. This is where I'm in alignment with myself, my highest truth, my highest knowing, I feel great, excellent. So she already knows what to do. And she goes, yeah, but I just started this website, and shouldn't I be working on that? And shouldn't I be doing blogs? And shouldn't I be doing videos? And it's like, well, that isn't being called to right now. And we're always looking at, where should I do? Again, back to this, should I put in a pump? Should I do this? How do I get the water to come faster? And this is a part of our spiritual principles, again, of where, well, the sort of the contrast to those spiritual principles, which sometimes really helps to go, well, what are the principles I'm living by? If I can't figure out what my spiritual principle is, what's the principle I'm living by? And the principle I'm living by is I have to do more. And again, coming back to validate and to vindicate. I have to do more to validate myself. I have to do more to get the exposure. I have to do more to get. And it's that to get, which is the big part of that principles. Our principles is our consensus view of reality. It's all about getting something. And the spiritual principle would be with the contrast to that would be allowing, not trying to get something, not doing something for the sake of doing to get, but allowing that water to surface to its own level of the surface, if you will. And that's the dilemma. It's like, well, I don't want to wait. I shouldn't wait. Where's the money going to come? Where's the and all that angst that comes up? It's like, is that in alignment with the principle of I got to get, or is that in alignment with the principle of allowing? Big dilemmas for people, and for them to allow through rest and patience and presence and listening for where am I inspired? I'm inspired to go for a walk. I'm inspired to go feed the chickens. I'm inspired to groom my dog. I'm inspired to do these podcasts this morning. Where am I inspired? And allow that to be the truth versus, well, when I'm inspired, we have, again, will that get me to? Will that get me what I want? It's like, I don't know. But I know that this is, for me, it's in an alignment with how I come to be truthful in my life, how I come to live in alignment with my life and with the divine harmony of all, and come to this place more of oneness and working with and collaborating with the divine in my human spirit element versus that push to get something on my own. And again, this goes back to the previous podcast of I want to get my little blue shrimp healthy. I want to get them to not die. I want to get it right so that I'm not wrong. All that kind of perspective of separation. It's me. I need to try to control so that I don't feel that lack of ineptitude and nothingness. When in fact, when I turn my will over, surrender, I'm actually aligning myself more and more with the harmony of the divine. That's that principle, right? So, what's there to do? Basically, what's there to do when there's nothing to do? Just rest and sit and be quiet. Or if you're inspired to go for a walk, go for a walk. If you're inspired to make a cup of tea or have something to eat, or just listen for what inspires you. And if it's nothing, don't do anything. But if you're doing from that, I need to get that fear-based place, then you're acting from an alignment with the consensus view of reality. And you can just say, well, and a lot of people say this, like, well, you have to do it. You have to live in the world. The world has to, is calling you. You have to pay your bills. You have to, feed your children. You've got to get them to school. You got to pick them up, all that kind of stuff. It's like, yes, and how do you do that and stay aligned with your spiritual principles versus the fear of lack, not enough time, fear of lack, not enough money, fear of lack, not enough love, all those kinds of things. And it's really just a matter, again, of noticing what's showing up and how you choose. And is that choice coming from what feels peaceful and what feels aligned with your highest truth, your highest knowing, or something else? You can pick up the kids. I have clients every single day, Monday through Friday, and I show up for those commitments because that's in my highest truth, my highest knowing. Not to get something, but because I'm in alignment with that. I've written a lot of books and blogs and videos and all those kinds of things, not from I gotta get, but from a place of inspired expression. And so it's really letting go of the fear and finding that you have what you want and are making it happen without that fear and the angst and I gotta get. So one more thing about this is when you are in that state of, I don't know what to do, it's like just be in that state. And especially when you've done some deep work, you've dug deep and got to the bottom of things, and you can just rest and listen for and be present to, because what happens is things will evolve, things will show up, things as in perhaps the money situation will show up, or you'll be invited into something that you weren't anticipating, or the next letting go of something will just happen automatically, like effortlessly, automatically. Things begin to happen, much like the well water begins to come up. It begins to fill up to the surface. And it's a really beautiful experience. We don't have to do anything to make that happen. We just have to be present with the awe of wonder of witnessing witnessing the water surface, witnessing what shows up when we are choosing based on this place of there's nothing for me to do. I will be told what to do. You will be told what to do. I did. This is the last thing I'll share. I have this pre-flight checklist. In fact, I think it's available if you sign up for my newsletter. But you can just Google Rosie Kuhn pre-flight checklist, and it gives you these 10, I think it is 10 things, a checklist to actually begin to soar in your life. And one of it is, I need do nothing. I will be told what to do, and you will experience a sense of inspiration or a calling, or you'll hear a voice. Something will move you, or the phone will ring, or an email show up. But things will happen, and you don't have to do anything. That goes so against our consensus view of reality. But it actually is part of our spiritual principles. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm just telling you. And it takes work to make that happen and allow that, as I use the word make that happen, as in it takes a lot of work to train ourselves to move in the direction of our working and living in our spiritual principles. That's making it happen. And it's not about getting something. It's really just about letting go of what isn't working and doesn't bring peace and doesn't bring harmony. All right. That's it for today. Big hugs, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.